Tonight, though, with the latest from Buncombe County, where the sheriff just reported 72 people are dead and more than 200 are missing.
The sheriff is not releasing the names or locations where these people were found, but the search, rescue, and recovery continues. The county manager also said there is now a one Buncombe call center to report damage and get information about the storm. That number, listen to this, is 828-250-1600. 828-250-1600. And if you missed that, you can get it at WLOS.com, where we are updating all the latest information on recovery efforts. As officials attempt to get more information out to storm victims and loved ones, many people are still desperate for help.
News 13's Kimberly King joins us live. And Kim, you spoke with the Swannanoa fire chief, and he's doing all he can to facilitate that information.
Chief Anthony Penland grew up in Swannanoa, and he believes the body count in his community is going to continue to grow. He says tonight that the body count right now is right at around 10 recovered. News 13 was in Swannanoa this afternoon, and we confirmed that the Penland family funeral home is bringing in at least one refrigerated storage unit to park in this adjacent lot. They had the fire department cordoned off. We talked with the fire chief about the bodies recovered. What's your count right now, your unofficial count?
I don't have a count.
Is it over 5?
It's over 5, yes.
Is it over 10?
It could be going to 10, but that's where I would stop.
So we had slides in neighborhoods where, you know, where people could have be still under those slides. I was born and raised here, so my community's gone.
What is your message to federal officials? This is a small community. Asheville gets all the national name out there, the name recognition as the mountains. What's your message?
Don't forget us. Please don't forget us. Make sure that we are, it's just as important, which I believe we are. It's just that just make sure that we know that we don't have a set form of government with a mayor and council.
Now, new information, Nola and Robert Ramser, seen in these photos with their daughter, they are missing in Swannanoa. I spoke with their daughter today, and she is now making a public plea for help. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from her, and we'll get new information on how law enforcement officials have now called her after we made contact with them. Reporting live from Buncombe County, Kimberly King, News 13.
You, Kim. And this was more drone video from the damage in Biltmore Village. You can see all of the debris along the river, as well as what looks like as a van that was smashed against the bridge. Moe's restaurant appears to be destroyed.
For the first time since Helene devastated our area, we are on the ground in Biltmore Village, where the flooding was significant.
News 13's Taylor Thompson spent the day surveying the damage done. She joins us there live now. And Taylor, what are you seeing?
Tammy, when I first arrived here, I was honestly at a loss for words, seeing in person just how much destruction Helene truly caused to our area. I want you guys to take a look over here in the Swannanoa River. There's a car still submerged in this river. There are large downed trees everywhere. You guys, it is crazy to see just how strong this storm was. It was just a week ago when I spoke with David Ross, a Biltmore Village contractor who was sandbagging one of his buildings to prepare for Helene.
To be honest, I'm not sure I've let it all sink in.
Having his own home affected by the storm, it took him days to be able to get to the village to see the damage done.
When you first laid eyes after the storm, did you think it was going to be this bad?
No, I honestly, when I heard that it was 27 feet, I didn't even think in the process, oh, like, wow, like that high.
Everywhere you turn in the village, you will see damage, whether it's windows knocked out of buildings, feet of mud, or downed trees or power lines. The area is not what it once was, and it's only the beginning.
We're basically mucking everything out, getting things out of the building, and then assessing the actual damage.
He says it will be many months before people can even think about being back in business. But through the chaos, there's a strong sense of community.
On the menu today, we got chicken breast, and then over here, we've got sausages.
John Honoree has friends in Asheville and drove up from Charleston ready to lend a helping hand.
We're calling it Lululemon's Kitchen.
Honoree says he plans to make sure those working to clean up the village have a hot meal ready daily. For Ross, he says there's a choice in these type of disaster situations.
You either sit down and you're afraid, or you stand up, and I'm trying to just stand up.
And while this damage is heartbreaking and there is a long road ahead, Ross does believe they will be able to rebuild back better and stronger than they were before. Live in Asheville, I'm Taylor Thompson, News 13.
For the first time since Hurricane Helene hit the area, News 13 was able to make our way into the Fairview community.
It's a part of Buncombe County where travel has been challenging, to say the least, and many people are still on their own with no way out.
News 13's Ed DiOrio shows us the conditions and the progress of resources getting to residents there.
That's a good girl.
Lee Pantis spent day 6 since Helene with his best friend, Cleopatra.
She knows something's going on, but we're not sure. She doesn't know quite what.
There might not be a dog or person in Fairview who does know what's going on right now.
This out, people still, I guess, up in the mountains up here on Garin Creek. It's really bad.
We had the National Guard here yesterday where they had a contingent with a master sergeant walking up and down the valley, checking people.
Our pond was gone. We had trees all over the driveway and our bridge to get out.
The water was 3 feet over this bridge. The shock was so devastating, and you've heard the story with people just crying and my neighbor just on the pavement looking at our bridge, just sobbing and bawling.
People like Lee and June have been stranded for almost a week now along Garin Creek Road. While fallen trees and power lines can be found all over the area right now, Garin Creek can barely be considered a road in some parts. Spray-painted lines signifying unstable asphalt. But over the last few days, there's also been some new sights.
We had half a dozen Chinooks the other day, all day, back and forth, and helicopters all up and down the mountain.
After nearly a week, resource and rescue teams are making it deeper into the rural community. With it comes a new outlook.
This is so hopeful. We've been waiting for help to show up, and they just showed up out of the blue remembering us. And I know there are solutions, and people come together, and do the best. Yeah, I try to be upbeat. You have to be optimistic. I think we help create our future by the way we look at the world. Be kind and help others.
A sign of hope and tragedy from Chimney Rock. The state park superintendent posted this photo on Facebook this afternoon. It shows the flag on top of the iconic rock, and down below, the damage to Chimney Rock Village and beyond.
Helene claimed 2 lives in Rutherford County.
Urban search and rescue teams from New York, Michigan, and North Carolina continue to work in Chimney Rock. The exact number of evacuations there is still unknown.
News 13's Jennifer Emmert talked with one couple who is choosing to stay. From their isolated property, they shared details of the destruction, the battle to save their property, and their enduring spirit.
It was scary, to say the least.
Without Brett and Pam Johnson's faith, they're not sure they would be here.
When that tree cratered the front of our house, that huge entryway took the whole brunt of that tree. If we would have had a normal house, they would have just cut the house right in half. Just right in half. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I was up in one of those lofts because of rain that was coming in. And Jennifer, if that would have just hit 2 or 3 degrees to the east, it would have absolutely crushed me like a bug. But by 5 o'clock in the morning, the storm was just angry. We have 8-foot doors, these glass doors that go out to the back porch that looks at the view. And Jennifer, I don't know how it happened, but I don't know how it came unlocked, but that door is like in another zip code. It just ripped it right off the hinges.
While the Johnsons battled hurricane-force winds below the Rocky Broad, one by one was picking apart the town they love.
The river had obviously jumped into the road and running right down Main Street. You could see one building just beginning to lean and boom, gone.
Up the gorge.
It was class 5 water, 100 yards wide, just rolling down.
swallowing everything from the brewery to the cabins at a family campground built in the 20s.
My neighbor said you could just see those things slip off, and the second it hit the water, it was just ground into dirt.
Since Monday, many have been airlifted out.
We have 4 sets of neighbors here, and when they left, you know, they were just like, oh, hell, or take this, or take that, here, take this. Oh, don't you know I got a generator?
Armed with their neighbors' rations, the Johnsons chose to stay.
There's a verse that we love that says, fear not, for I'm with you. Be not dismayed. I am your God. I will help you. I will strengthen you. I will carry you with my victorious right hand. And we have seen that in real time, right in front of our eyes.
The sign, now hanging from their porch above, says it all.
We hung out the sign to be Chimney Rock strong, just to be a source of encouragement for Western North Carolina.
Nearly a week later, still in a battle to protect the property they love.
If not for our faith, I don't think we could bear this. This is just everything that we have is in this. All our life savings, all our life work is here on this mountain. And so we hung that sign up saying, you know, we're Chimney Rock strong, fight back.
An amazingly strong family. The Johnsons also have family in Burnsville that's been impacted too. They say everyone is okay, so they consider themselves lucky. Is it safe for them to be there in those conditions? It is safe so far. They do have some damage to their property. They were working on the driveway to try and secure it today, and they tell me that if it becomes unsafe for them to be there, that they will leave, but it's a little bit of a drive down the hill and then a walk out to get out.
Well, this is one of the 3 sites anyone can bring household trash to today. It's a temporary solution while the county tries to figure out when regular trash routes will resume. It's a welcome site that's helping to lighten the load.
So when I got this message that they were coming here, I was happy because it was getting bad.
The county named 3 sites where anyone can drop off bagged household trash. They began collecting at 8 a.m. Good news for county customers on the Thursday route. They should see trash trucks picking up today, but the county said they're unsure about routes continuing into the weekend.
What we're working on is day by day as we can get to see what roads are available, not just for car traffic, but these are huge trucks, as you know, can make it down those roads safely.
The city of Asheville also gave an update, but said they don't have much of a timeline.
I am not able to give a date when solid waste service will return. We are still trying to clear roads and get access.
So those 3 locations include the Ingalls on Hendersonville Road in South Asheville, the Ingalls on Hendersonville Road in Fletcher, and the Ingalls on Charlotte Highway. All 3 of those sites serving as a trash pickup location for anyone who needs it until 6 p.m. today. In Fletcher, Gracie Matisse, News 13.
And we have a bit of an update on that.
Just moments ago in that afternoon briefing, Buncombe County officials said those temporary garbage collection sites at Ingalls will not be open tomorrow, so you have about 30 minutes to go dump off your trash. Next at 5, people across the nation are helping in the recovery efforts here in Western North Carolina and beyond. How much people have donated so far. Our parent company is partnering with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares Hurricane Helene relief. It will help with humanitarian relief efforts in Western North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, and Tennessee. So far, you have donated more than $110,000 for emergency aid.
Sinclair is also matching the first $50,000 raised at sinclaircares.com. Go to sinclaircares.com or scan the QR code on the screen right now to make a donation.
Isn't that remarkable?
It is, isn't
so
it?
much donation so soon. And stay with us. Our team coverage of the Helene aftermath continues right now at 5:30.
Commemorating 70 years. This is News 13 at 5:30.
We know many people across Western North Carolina are still without power almost a week after Helene moved through. This is drone video from Hendersonville Road, where you can see crews working to clear debris and repair lines. According to Duke Energy, there are still more than 430,000 people without power in the Carolinas.
And Canton and Haywood County is once again dealing with devastating flooding.
News 13's Rex Hodge reports on the ongoing issues there including their challenges with communication.
Canton Mayor Zeb Smouther says it's deja vu. After back-to-back tropical storms named Fred and now Helene, you can see the damage here on the Pisgah football field. But Zeb Smouther says this town will carry on.
There's so many things that we're dealing with right now, stabilizing our towns, still, looking for loved ones.
The mayor says loss of self-service has been challenging, a message reaching the highest office.
That message that we have been advocating, myself and others, made it to the White House. So we got to keep the pressure on until everybody has the ability to communicate with the ones they need the most, whether it be emergency management or their loved ones.
Communications have improved, the mayor says, courtesy of satellite units arriving.
I'm very appreciative to the Starlink technology. I cannot imagine what our situation would be if I didn't have that ability to get internet from the sky. But it is getting better. I think we've got a long way to go.
Helene took aim once again at recreation facilities. The new All Abilities playground, just about to open after Fred, jumbled. The ball fields muddied up again. The Pisgah football field too, all on the heels of the mill closure, but resolve.
And it's also important to know that whistle is still on that scoreboard. And so at some point it will blow again.
Haywood County schools remain closed.
We've lost sewer and power to a good many of our schools. Those are gradually being restored.
Parents will get 2 days notice when schools will reopen. Some adjustments with so many roads impacted.
We are having to reimagine or rethink what a bus route might look like.
And there's also early imagining about what Canton will look like moving forward. Perhaps shifting to higher ground.
Is that in the thinking already?
But it is, and it should be. Okay, where to, and how much. So again, you're spending taxpayer money here, so you need to be thinking about the cost-benefit analysis.
Canton's been through many tough times of late. Local band Balsam Range often soothing the turbulence. Band member Tim Surratt says with songs like Grit and Grace.
Well, I think that would be a good one just to keep running with.
Smouther says it's the people here who are the backbone of this town, which will carry on. Reporting from Canton, Rex Hodge, News 13.
We are also getting an update on the cleanup efforts in nearby Clyde.
Flooding from the Pigeon River swamped nearby homes. Residents have been piling up debris on the roadside ready for pickup. The crews from Haywood County Development Services have been on site today making damage assessments. Joe Clark says floodwaters shoved his neighbor's garage clear off its slab, pushing it into his property. After rebuilding several times, he says he's calling it quits and is moving out.
I'm done.
Moving?
I'm going to higher ground.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't stay here.
The notice on damaged homes says before occupying this building or doing any repair work, you must call the Haywood County Development Services Office to obtain the proper permits. Failure to obtain permits prior to reconstruction approval may result in a penalty.
Our team of reporters is spread out across western North Carolina. We're not only following the stories of the victims, but getting an update on the damage in Biltmore Village, plus the issues along Guerin Creek in Fairview. And we visit residents working together to restore their community. We begin with News 13's Kimberly King.
She spoke with the daughter of a woman whose parents remain missing this afternoon, and she fears the worst.
I'm Kimberly King in Swannanoa, and the fire chief here has confirmed that the local funeral home has asked them to cordon off this parking lot area as they get ready to bring in a refrigerated cooler for expected additional bodies that will be recovered. The fire chief has told me that he has counted approximately 10 bodies that have been recovered so far. He does not know the identities, he said, but basically the fire department behind me has become the command central for all emergency vehicles, all emergency teams that are coming in from across the country, including K-9 units that will be going out into more rural areas to try and search for victims of this catastrophic flooding. And then one other thing I want to point out to you, the community obviously coming together. They've got the Burnt Pretzel here and also a local Baptist church that are giving out food and basic supplies for anyone in need. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we will speak with an adult who is looking for her mother and father. She says they have been missing for days, and she's hoping for any information from someone who might hear her story. Reporting from Swannanoa, Kimberly King, News 13.
I'm Taylor Thompson, and we are down here in the Biltmore Village, and if I'm being honest with you guys, I am at a complete loss of words for the devastation that I have seen here. This is our first time seeing the aftermath of Biltmore Village since the impacts of Helene hit, and it is just absolutely devastating here. I want you to take a look. In the river, there is a vehicle just turned over. There's trees that have fallen, debris. I mean, it's just awful to look at. It looks like a tornado came through here with the way these floodwaters have just destroyed so much. I mean, if you take a look across the street here at what was a Japanese restaurant that is now just rubbish and debris. I mean, it's crazy when you think about how high these floodwaters had to get to completely just destroy this restaurant. And another one right here beside it is Moe's, and it is in the same boat. Like I said, it's just crazy to think about how high these floodwaters had to get. And if you keep looking down this way, you'll see the railroad crossing that's just hanging there. There is a other kind of vehicle that is in the McDonald's parking lot. I mean, it's just the floodwaters have completely destroyed this area. And from talking with leaders and workers and people that I've seen out here trying to begin the cleanup process, this is not something that is going to be done anytime soon. And it is going to be a long time before the Biltmore Village looks like what it once was. I'm Taylor Thompson, News 13.
Fairview was a spot in Buncombe County since Hurricane Helene that has not been easy to get to, and that is still the case. But now that roads are becoming more accessible 6 days following the storm, we're seeing the aftermath with a lot of landslides here on the hills of this rural part of Buncombe County. Like many areas, you're still seeing these trees down, power lines in the same way. And something that we're noticing, and at least in my ventures, I haven't really seen this, all these markings on the side of the road, this is just to mark that this is unstable. This is not safe to drive on, and there's no cones. There's no traffic cones or anything. It's just people with spray paint coming in here and doing this. That's what Fairview has been for almost a week now, and it's going to be that way for the near future at least. But the good news is that we have been seeing a lot of ATVs, sheriff's deputies, resource trucks getting on these roads and getting to these people that have been stranded in many cases. But it's going to take a while to get this area back to the rural part of Buncombe County that a lot of these residents came to know and love. In Fairview, Ed Diorio, News 13.
The waters in Bakersville rose very, very high. Coming up on Crimson Laurel Way, you can see this business, Young's Fuel Service, completely blown out. It was a glass building at the front. All of that glass is gone. The owner tells us the front of the building is a complete loss. You're looking at part of that over here. The good news is Young's is helping rebuild the town, the main road, Crimson Laurel Way. There's a portion of it that's missing. They've been moving that dirt that was gone back into where it's supposed to be so people can come and get into town. But just take a look down the road. There is plenty of devastation, but besides the devastation, you can see a small town coming together to help get their community back up and running.